All right, we're live here. It is Friday. Oh man, I notice. I don't know why. I always seem to mess things up on a Friday, but today, oh man. I mean, you guys can see it right here on my P&L list right here. Just absolute craziness, and it in the title of this video it says I'm up 264 on the day because. So yesterday, let's start at the very beginning. This might be a bit of a longer recap, but I think it'll be well worth it, guys, because this recap is just, it's crazy, man. So let's take a look here. Yesterday, after I made my recap, and right at the end of the after hours session, this was about 7:55, I was watching GameStop and it was kind of curling up, and there was some volume in here. And so I actually took a 20 share position, and I was just trying to see if we could catch just a quick break. I just was kind of in this trade to see if it would break and see if what kind of move we might get. And anyway, on this last candle of the whole after hours session before pre-market the next morning, I put an order out to sell in that last minute, but only got filled 9 shares, so I ended up holding 11 shares overnight in GameStop. And so that's what you see here are just these sells from the remainder of these shares here. I sold out 11 shares in here. And I'm not sure why it says P&L on the day 277 because I only had 11 shares in at 192 and got out those 11 shares in these 200s. That's not $277 of profit, so I'm not sure where it's getting that number exactly, so I think that's a little messed up. But anyway, in the P&L on the title of this video it says I'm up 264 because I'm not including this this GameStop in my, I'm not even going to add this to those gains on my trader view. You guys know I keep track of my trades here in trader view every day, and I'm not going to be adding these gains in here. So just look at this, and with those two overlapping, I'm up about 264 on the day. So okay, yeah. So first off the bat, I was watching GameStop and it dipped down, and I was red on those shares from overnight, but then it came up, and then I just sold out of those shares, and then onward from there, that's when the day really began in terms of trading, because this was just remaining shares from yesterday that I didn't really mean to swing into today. So okay, let's continue. So AMC was the first stock that I traded, and oh boy, guys, this was not supposed to go like this. You can see I'm down $1,600 on AMC today, so really terrible. And this was one I just bag held, and that's why I'm titling this video a day without stop losses, because that's really what it was. It was a day where I just didn't stop out of any of my trades really, and you'll see what happens here. So my initial long, I have no regrets, 1,000 shares here. I liked this. Looking for the market to try to go here and looking for it to kind of bounce and make a test of 1150 in those highs, and I really thought AMC could actually have possibly a positive day today and continue from yesterday. It had a 20% day, and I traded it really well yesterday. Anyway, so I was looking for a nice trade on this, and it did come up here, and I was up on the trade nicely, but then as it came down here, it tried bouncing off VWAP, and then all of a sudden it just started breaking down. I didn't take any profits up here. I was really looking for more. I should have taken some off the table here. I did not, and that led me to kind of want to get that back, and we didn't get back there. It broke down here. As it came down here, I actually added 500 shares to the position as it was coming up here. But unfortunately, we continued to break down. We popped up here briefly looking for that return to VWAP, trying to come up here, but then breaking down further. And I thought, okay, well, maybe we can bounce here and make a double bottom here. So I added another 500 shares. Now I'm in 2,000 shares. And then as we came down here and broke through this double bottom, I cut the position. And I did actually cut this position. So I guess I did kind of stop out of this first position in these ads. And anyway, cutting this position, I was in full size and cut it 2 minutes later and took about a $420 loss. So I was down about $420 on this stock at that point. Then it bounces, comes up, and I'm like, oh man, I'm above where I cut the position now. It's above where I cut, and it's gonna go now. And this was stupid. and this was the mistake that I made. I had a really terrible entry here at 10.99. I bought this dip in here at 10.99, popped up momentarily to 11.05 and broke down, and all of a sudden it was making a new low, and I went all in right here for 2,000 shares. Immediately I went in for full size because I really thought it was going to go, and I really wanted it. And start with smaller size if you're going to average down, reduce risk. Yeah, okay. I appreciate what you're saying, but yeah, you must be new, because I go through these recaps every single day, and you guys know I trade. I mean, 1,000 shares is pretty normal size for me. I'm comfortable with any loss that would come from 1,000 shares stopping out down here. I mean. But this is what a bad trading day looks like for me, and that we all have bad days, so it's easier said than done. But this is not a typical day for me. That's why literally I'm calling this day's craziest of the year. So this is by no means normal. So I appreciate what you're saying. But anyway. Yeah, no, it just nice, or not nice, but upside down V shape right here, just crashing back down on 2,000 shares. And on this, yeah, I just held it all the way down. And as it was coming down, I just was looking for that bounce, and we got that bounce here. This is really, I probably should have taken some off up here, but I didn't. Comes down here, adding 500 shares here as it kind of had this this kind of bullish formation here, and then it was kind of breaking out. So I bought into that breakout, and that was a decent add there as we came up into 1060s and hit almost 1070 there. But that would be the high there momentarily. Then we continue to break down, and I am lucky that I did cut the position right here. I finally drew that kind of line in the sand right here. You see you have a bottom here, 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 here. So I just put my stop under there, and I said, I've been holding this position for hours, and if this continues to crumble, then that's just going to be it for me, and I've got to get out. And this is how it goes sometimes, and this is certainly a bad trade for me. I think this add was good. If it was going to go, that was a good spot to add. I think the mistake here was really just with this poor entry up here at this high. I was just eager to get in, and I went in full size. I really thought it was going to go, but in hindsight, yeah, just a crappy spot to add there. And with it downtrending, this was not smart. So yeah, I mean, it's certainly I should have taken smaller size, but easier to say that in hindsight. So okay, stopping out of this position and down 1,600 on after stopping out right there. So I was like, oh man. With that trade, it really upset me because I was basically giving up all my profits on the week with the $1,600 loss right there. Okay, so now let's talk about Baidu. After I cut that position, immediately my revenge trader mindset kicked in, and I was like, man, I want to get in another stock. I want to make this back. I want a revenge trade. It was like the emotions were heightened. I was like, okay, I realize I'm emotionally driven right now, as I should be after a $1,600 loss. This is normal, right? When you start to feel flustered and you start to feel upset that you just lost that much, and you wish you had cut the position earlier, and all the mistakes that you made, and you want to make it all up right now. And so that's where I was at. That's what I wanted to do. So I was looking around at stocks, and I saw Baidu, and I simply could not resist it, is really how I would put it. Looking at this, you see this pre-market action, lots of volume in pre-market, and then, look at the daily chart. Look at that volume bar. You can see Baidu today had an incredible day just in terms of volume. And then you look at the daily chart and how it has been breaking down over the last 3 days. Some incredible moves here on this stock. As I first started watching it right here. It had already popped up, and I was like, dang it, I missed the bounce. But look how strong this green candle is. This is a strong bounce, and I'm noticing on the daily chart we're coming right in to that 200 moving average right here, which is a very well respected support on the daily chart. Very, very well respected, and today is evidence of that. And so I thought, well, that just might have been the bottom. And so if we're going to pop up here, I want to go long as we start to bounce off that level. And I don't mind getting in high because of the volume and momentum that we could start to see on this. Okay, so here's what I did. 200 shares I'm in, and I'm already noticing the range on this stock is incredible. So the range on a stock on a given day has a lot to do with what share size you should take, right? So for instance, a low of 173, the high right here was 209. So 209, then it crashed down to 174, 173. So that is over a that's like a $35 range in a single day. So 200 shares, that means every dollar it goes up is $200. Every dollar it goes down is $200 of loss. So yeah, aggressive as hell with 200 shares here. As it came down here, I bought on this red candle, and it popped up here, but I ended up actually, I guess, cutting this position. I think I set my stop at the low of this candle. I put a very, very tight stop. I was like, okay, I'm buying this dip, and then I want it to go. And that's not how stocks work, man. You got to give them a little bit more room. And so I got stopped out right here instantly on the next candle, as expected, because what the heck, why would I set my stops so darn close? I mean, I know why, because I'm like, I want to make it back. I can't be down anymore. I just have to make money, right? But like, dude, what am I thinking? So anyway, I get stopped out, 200 shares, almost $1 of loss per share. And after that trade, I was down on this stock $180 on this stock, plus down $1,600 on AMC. I was down almost $1,800 on the day, not including the GameStop from earlier. So at that point, down $1,800 on the day, $180 on this stock, and I'm just like, oh man, what am I doing? I'm revenge trading. I'm emotionally driven. This is what happens, man. This is what happens to all traders. Some are better at managing it than others, and right now, I feel like today, I just want to make clear, today was not a day that I traded well. I did not trade well today. Okay, that is like incredibly clear. Okay, but then I took a step back for a minute and just thought, like, okay, if I'm gonna be revenge trading, can I at least get a good entry? Can I at least have a good setup? Can I at least buy a stock that I think is gonna go up, right? So I kind of checked myself. Do I think this is a stock that's gonna go up? Do I think it's gonna rally? And can I be disciplined enough to at least get in at an entry that makes sense? And I tried. But right there, I'm in the very next minute, 200 shares, and I said, I just got to give this one more room to go because I just got stopped out, so I'm right back in 200 shares. But this is some of the stuff that was floating through my head, is like, I thought that this stock was actually a good pick. I thought this one could run. It was right in at that 200 moving average. I wanted to catch that bounce off of the support here on the daily chart. I thought it could bounce off that level. So anyway, I'm right back in for 200 shares. It crashes down. And at this low right here, I'm down on the stock. I'm down $600 or $700, plus this, or minus the $1,600 I'm down on AMC. I'm down at this wick right here. I'm down, I think, probably around $2,200, $2,300 on the day, which would be my biggest loss of the month. Biggest loss since the end of February, when I had a pretty big loss at the end of February. Okay, but what do? I super aggressively add another 100 shares. Okay, now I've got 300 shares in this stock that is moving like crazy. Let me zoom out to give you a perspective. Again, the high here 209, the low here 174. This stock is moving like crazy. Look at this daily chart, man. Look at that volume. Okay, I'm in 100 shares. Boom, bounces up and then rips up to 183, ripping up to 184. I take some shares out here, 50 shares out, 25 shares out, so now I'm holding 225 shares. I'm like, okay, let's go. That was good. A nice rip up to 184. Pull back, coming up here, looking to move higher, trying to get that move up through 185 and higher, and trying to continue that bounce. Then, boom, we break all the way down in one candle, huge flush here, all the way down to below my cost basis, way below my cost basis. And at this point, I was like, oh man, why did I not take more profits out at 184? I get too greedy. Because up here, I was up now on this trade a lot. I was up pretty considerably, 300 shares. My cost basis was somewhere like 179 maybe was my cost basis here. And a rip up to 184 on 300 shares, that's huge. So, anyway, okay, so let's continue here. So it flushes down here and then pops back up, but this wick, it leaves a lot of wick here. I'm like, oh man, we're gonna continue lower. We're going down. I was like, oh man, this is just about to be a disaster. Still holding 225 shares, patient with it. It comes all the way up, patient rips up to 184. I immediately take 25 shares off the table at 184. Pulls back, bouncing up here, trying to continue higher here, but just trying. Taking 25 shares, taking some off the table. 184, 185, taking some off. So now at this point I'm holding, what am I holding? 150 shares here. Crashes down here a little bit, and then curls back up, rips up, and I'll go back to auto here so you can see this is a really nice rip up to 187. So making new highs here. And then taking 25 shares off the table. And then I set an order in front of 188 for another 20. I was going to take my next 25 shares off in front of 188. I really thought we were going to get a rip through this 200 moving average. I was like dead set on that, like we're going. But this candle, wham, right back down, and then right back down. And the price action here was looking so super weak. Trying to curl back up, wham, right back down. Trying to curl back up, ooh, and getting rejected again. And it was just like, oh my God, why did I not take more shares out? I didn't take more shares out at these highs. I should have taken more out. Okay, guys, at this high right here, it said on the day I was up on this stock, I think 1,500 or 1,600, somewhere between 1,400 and 1,600, I was up on this stock right here at that point, at that high. It crashes down, crashes all the way back down here, below my cost basis, all the way down to 175. Bouncing up, coming back down, 175.50 right here at this low. And at this point, I was up on the stock no more than, I think, $200. I went from up 1,400, and then with my 125 shares left, I held 125 shares all the way from 187 to 175. That is that's over an $11 move to the downside on 125 shares. And just like that, I gave everything back. I held everything all the way back down. Not everything. I held 125 shares all the way back down. And I watched the numbers go from 1,600, 1,500, 1,400, 1,300, 1,200, 1,100, 1,900, 800, 700, 600, 500, 400, 300, 200. I was like, oh my God. So that's why this video is called A Day Without Stop Losses. I did not stop out because the low was still here. And guess what, guys? Double bottom here, bouncing up, ripping up, and sticking with all of this. And as we were up here, I was back up on the stock, $1,000 at this point. I was like, okay, Austin, you better take some shares out, because if this thing comes back down and you didn't take anything out, you are going to be absolutely pissed at yourself. So I was like, all right, I just have to. So I took 25 shares out right here, 182. Not a great exit. Could have gotten 184 over here. And then a few minutes later, ripping up through 185 here, taking 10 shares now off the table, because after I took this 25 out, I had 100 shares left. So a third of the position on. 10 shares out here, I got 90 left. 10 shares out here, 90 left. And at this point, I really liked this to continue higher through the afternoon. Took 10 shares out here, and I zoomed out and I said, okay, what do I think that this stock can do? And let me disable the trades so you can just look at it, right? And so I was looking at it, and this is what I wanted it to do here. This is what I wanted it to get back to VWAP. That was my goal, and that's really what I thought it was going to be capable of doing. And So at this point, seeing it here, bottom, bottom, double bottom, it caught the support right at that 200 moving average. It's coming up, and it's just, again, double bottom and come all the way back up to this prior high. What do I think it's going to do now? Here you can see it's kind of a spike up and spike down, so very quick, right? But now it's kind of developing value, slowly churning higher. So that is a more organic uptrend. It looks much nicer, and better yet, at this point, the market was doing crazy things, guys. Look at what the market was doing. At this point, the market was going down. It was like here. I think it was here. It was moving down like this. This red candle right here at 245. So let's see where 245 is. So 245 is right here. Baidu is moving up strong. And the market was flushing, as I just showed you, at this exact same time. So in my head, I was like, okay, if the market catches a bid here and starts to move higher, if it starts to bounce for any reason, Baidu is going to gain some serious momentum because it's already moving up. It's already super strong compared to what the market's doing right now. This is looking great. So at this point, let me enable the trades again. I had 80 shares left here, taking 10 out, 10 out. So I was like, okay, what do I think this can do? Well, realistically, I think it can get through to VWAP, and if it gets to VWAP, and if the market catches a bid, starts to bounce, I think this thing can get some real strength in it, and I think my expectation is we're going to get a rip through VWAP, and so I'm going to put my last 80 shares out on the ask in front of 190.150, and I picked that number just because I thought, it's a smidge above VWAP. That's what I think it can do, and then from there, I'm not so sure because if it's going to rip through VWAP, it probably will need to come down and I'm not just saying this in hindsight. Hindsight's 2020, but look, stocks don't just rip through important levels like this and just continue higher and just float up into space. They need to pull back. They need to have organic uptrends. They need to come up, pull back, come up, pull back. Okay, that's how they work, even if they're super strong. So if it comes up through VWAP and it's just floating out, hanging up in space, it's probably going to have to come back down and test. And I don't want to bet that it's not going to break back down through VWAP as it's been so weak throughout the rest of the day. All bets are off. So if we get that rip through VWAP, I want to be taking out the rest of my shares. So that's exactly what I did. 80 shares. I had an order at 190.149 in front of 190.150 in front of that spot, and I just let it. I was hands off. I saw it come up there, and I was like, I could cancel the order and take 10 shares off there instead and wait for it to go higher, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to get greedy. I'm taking my shares out, and so I saw my order get filled. 80 shares at 190.150, and that is where I sat on the day. And guys, this is my single biggest trade ever. Actually, this is my biggest green trade ever because I was actually down, as I said here, I was down 181 on this trade. I was down $180 on the stock after this little hiccup here. So it's from down 180 to up 1,800. So it's basically a $2,000 trade. It's over a $2,000 trade. And what a ride. And when I mean ride, I mean this drop right here scared the crap out of me because I went from up 1,600 to up only 100 or 200. And then, and guys, I mean, as you can see, it went to 209. It met the high from the beginning of the day. It went from 175 to 209 in 2 hours, less than 2 hours. When I first started watching this candle looked exactly opposite. It was a bearish red candle with a wick like this because of this move higher. It went up to 209, and then when I started watching it, it was a huge red candle right here at this low. Right here as it came down here. Pops up, comes, tests it again, and bounces. And then by the end of the day, it's a bullish candle, huge reversal. Guys, this is crazy, man. This is just crazy. And I actually was watching it here too, and I thought, oh, I want to enter this. I want to enter this trade in front of VWAP and just see if it can bounce. And that's exactly what happened. It would have been an amazing trade and entry here, all the way up through to 209. I mean, it's unlikely that you would hold everything to that point, but maybe. you wouldn't really get stopped out. If you put a trailing stop of $2, you'd be up all the way there, man. So anyway, look at I'm just yeah, part of me is salivating because if I had held, right, my entry here 200 and then 100, so 300 shares at a cost basis of about 178.50 or something like that. I mean, holding 300 shares from 179, 178 to 210, that's over $30 on 300 share. I mean, guys, that's crazy. But you know what? It's today. I mean, how dare I play the game of what if, you know? Because today was so stressful, and did I revenge trade? Yes. Did I trade horribly? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's some silver linings to this. I think I had some good exits here. You know, I wish I'd taken more off here. I shouldn't have let this happen. How bold would it have been if I had added back to the position? My God, I'm glad I didn't, because days like these are not days to add risk, right? But that's what I did. 300 shares on this stock, dude? Am I insane? I would never do that ordinarily. So why did I do it today? Because I was down 1,600 on AMC. That's what revenge trading is, duh. When you go down that much, you want to jump in another stock with massive share size to try to make it all back, and that's exactly what I did today. So it's like, I have to be able to differentiate. Did I trade really well, and should I feel great about myself because I came out of a $1,600 hole and turned myself green on the day? So should I be like, yeah, good job, Austin, you traded great? No, I didn't trade great. I jumped back in another stock that had a lot of volume and momentum with massive share size, aka massive risk, and did that so I could make my loss back, and I did. But I'm in a battle mentally with myself trying to figure out whether I did that for the right reasons. Did I do it because I was emotionally driven, or did I do it because it was a good setup and it was a good trade that I wanted? Am I lucky that it worked out, or did my bias turn out to be true? In this case, I think it's a little bit of both. My bias turned out to be true because when I saw this, it's like I said earlier in this recap, guys, when I saw this down here, right at the 200 moving average, incredible volume on the day, there's stuff going on with China right now, there's a catalyst. I saw it right here. It was having this bounce, great volume in here. What did I think? Okay, it's dipping, it's crashing. I want the bounce. I mean, I want to catch that bounce because I've been watching stocks for 3 years, and I know that in the afternoon when they have these spikes down, I mean, they can have incredible bounces. And if the market is going, and with this 200 moving average, I mean, a bounce off of that level is you know. But let's put it this way: a stock's not just going to crash through that level all in one fell swoop. I mean, anything's possible, but it's extremely unlikely, and that didn't happen here. That support came in, it held up, and look at that bounce, just by the end of the day, and that's exactly what I was looking for. Obviously, I did not think it would be this extreme, just ripping all the way up into the close. I mean, that's just amazing, super strong, and yeah, I missed out on so much here. I don't even want to look at that. I don't even want to look at that. My last exit here was 191.50. It went up to 210. I don't even want to think about that, but whatever. Trust me, dude. I already did the math on 80 shares. 191 to 209. That's $18 on 80 shares. Dude, that's $1,600 or something. I don't know. That's crazy. So, is my math right? What did I just say? I don't even know. Whatever. It's a lot of money, and I missed out on that absolutely. But anyway, back to what I was saying about like the mental thing. It's a little bit of both, right? My bias on this worked out. I did think it could bounce. I did like the 200 moving average. It does have great volume. The market did run. It did do what I thought it would do. This is what I thought it would do. This is what I wanted, and it happened. So in that sense, I got in for a good reason because I really realistically thought the setup was good and that it could have this run in the afternoon, and we did get that. So, okay, pat on the back, good job. Yes, that I did get in for good reasons there. But, and there's a big but on this. would I have taken this trade if I weren't down $1,600 in another stock today? Yes. But would I have taken it with 300 shares? No. Guys, remember, I took 300 shares of this stock, okay? I have P&Ls every day in the span of 300, I mean, it varies. But a solid green day for me, $500, yes, that's a solid thumbs up. Anything above that is 2 thumbs up. And then down 500 is bad. Anyway, so that's just to give some context, right? Guys, a 300 share position, a $1 move up, which is nothing for this stock, okay? Here's 178, here's 179. I mean, literally, it's nothing, okay? Like I said, the range on this stock today was incredible. 210, 173, okay? So this thing's moving like crazy, volume like crazy. I've said that a million times. You guys already know, okay? So 300 shares. Every dollar it moves up, I make $300, okay? That'd be like a pretty good day for me. Just getting $1 out of it. So insane share size on this, okay? Ranges from 187 down to 175 in this trade, and then from 175 up to 191. Wow. And I thought throwing my last shares out at last 80 shares at 191.50, I thought of that like, man, if I get filled my last 80 shares at 191.50, wow, that would be a great exit on my last shares. And 80 shares, that's a good amount of shares. That's like a little less than a third of my initial size. So getting a little less than a third of my initial size out at my best exit and 191.50, that would be awesome. But now you zoom out and you see it went to almost 210. Wow, that would have been another thing. So 300 shares from here to here, 300 shares from 179, let's say, to 209 would be $30. That'd be nine grand. That'd be a $9,000 trade if I had held everything up until the last minute, which is just kind of crazy to freaking think about, dude. If I had held in for 300 shares and I just walked away and came back when I heard the closing bell on my computer, I'd see $9,000. That's crazy. That is crazy. I'm like actually thinking that's crazy. So anyway, this has been a long recap. We're on 30 minutes, over 30 minutes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, guys, you gotta leave a like. I cannot believe that I turned this day green. So I'm up 264 if you subtract this GameStop here, which was a swing trade from yesterday that I didn't really mean to be in, kind of a mess up. Anyway, so it's 264. But the fact that I'm green on the day is beyond me because of AMC. That really got me down. I felt like I was trading horribly, and then I instantly went into Baidu, took a $180 loss, and then jumped right back in again, and then went down. For a minute, I was down like 600 or 700 on Baidu, down 2,300 on the day. And then that position flipped in the span of the next hour or two, and I finished that position up almost 1,900 on that position, on that trade. So anyway, guys, I don't know what to think about today. Certainly on Monday, I need to just trade with smaller size, go back to what I do best, just look for the grade A setups and cut the darn positions, man. This is a day without stop losses here, guys. That is the title of this video. This is a day without stop losses. Set your freaking stops and don't cancel them. My problem is it's not that I cancel them. That's not the problem. Is I don't set them. Right? Today I did not set them. I just did not stop out of trade just today. I mean, imagine Baidu crashed through this level, made a new low, the market tanked, and it just came down through that moving average. I mean, what would I have done? Where would I have stopped out? I would have had to stop out. Let me get rid of these trades so you can actually see. I would have had to stop out below this low right here. 174. Below 174, you gotta get out. You gotta get out, man. And that would have been a shame, for sure. But you know what? It wouldn't have been that bad, because if I had stopped out below 174, I already had my profit taking up here. Realistically, I probably would have been down on Baidu probably maybe $100 from that trade, stopping out. So $100, 1,600 loss on AMC. I'd probably be down like 1,700 today if I stopped out, right? If you stop out. So $1,700 loss is bad, okay, but not. And I'm just talking about my own for me personally, right? $1,700 loss I've had worse, and probably it would take me like a solid week of trading, and I would make that back. So yeah, it'd be bad, but you gotta cut the positions, and it's so rich for me to be saying that today on a day where, I mean, again, the title of the video is a day without stop losses. I did not cut my positions today, and that is not a good way to trade, not at all. But you know, despite everything that happened today, I'm green, and I have my first ever over $2,000 trade, day trade, which I just don't know what to think, because it's like I'm being rewarded for. I feel like I'm being rewarded for bad behavior, and I already went over this earlier in the recap. The senses in which there's senses in which this was a good trade, and I am glad that I took it. And it's pretty much every sense of this trade I'm happy about, except for one, which is the amount of shares I took. That is the only thing, okay? That's the only thing. And the fact that I probably should have taken more profit out up here in this stretch, and probably stopped out of the position below 181. Probably should have been my stop. Okay? That probably should have been it. Okay? Then it would have come down here. I don't think I would have bought here. Definitely not. I know me. This is not a good enough setup. It's coming down toward this low. It's like not at this bottom yet, so it's not really a double bottom yet. I'd look for it to come down here, then maybe bounce. I know I wouldn't have added here. I wouldn't have added here. It came up here. I might have added here. Probably not. Not a good enough setup. It would dipped and then ripped. I probably would have missed that one. It comes all the way up here. Probably would have missed it. Here, I probably would have taken a position. This is a good setup. This is nice. And then here, I probably would have looked to get in right here. That would have been the ideal, right? This is best case scenario, okay? We don't trade perfectly every day. Certainly, I didn't trade anywhere close to perfect today. But again, in most senses, in pretty much every sense, this was a good trade that I'm happy with. I'm proud of it. So, you know what? I'll take the fact that this was over a $2,000 trade for me, my first ever over $2,000 green trade. I will take that and be happy with it and be proud of it, except I took 300 shares of this stock. 300 shares, which I know that I would not have done if I weren't down 1,600 on another stock from earlier in the day. I know. Just no way I would have taken 300 in this stock if I weren't trying to make back what I lost on a different stock earlier in the day. And that is revenge trading. That's literally what revenge trading is, taking larger share size to try to make back losses. So yeah, I mean, I'm torn. And then what follows from that is the fact that if I hadn't taken 300 shares and hadn't taken this amount of share size, it wouldn't have been a $2,000 trade. Simple as that. It would not have been a $2,000 trade if I had only taken, say, 100 shares. Even 100 shares on this is bold. A $10 move and you've made $1,000. Which $10 move, that's not that much. I mean, I was in at 178, it hit 187, that's 900. So anyway, okay guys, this has been a long recap. I appreciate you guys sticking with me here. And yeah, despite everything, I'm green. I have my biggest green day, biggest green trade in my day trading journey to date, from starting in July or August of last year. This is today on Baidu my biggest trade ever, which is crazy to think about because I've been trading for many months now, and on a day where I was emotionally charged and down 1,600 on the day before this trade, and well, actually down 1,800 on the day before this trade because I had this little hiccup here, which I lost 200 on, which is crazy. Look at these candles; they're right next to each other. How do you even lose $200? What the hell? So anyway, okay, guys, that's it from me. We're on 40 minutes here, guys. If you come on, leave a like on this video. This day was absolutely insane. If you want to chat or talk or whatever, ask questions, my Discord server link is in the description. It's always been there. Join the Discord, and I'm happy to chat with you, or whatever. Just join the Discord, see what's up. I post notifications in there. Eduardo, nice man. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. And yeah, thanks for subscribing. I'll be back, guys, on Monday for my recap. On Monday, I want to decompress. I want smaller share size. I want to sit back and just let the trades work for me. Wait for the darn setups. Stop out of positions when you're just. It's easier said than done. By all means, easier said than done. Okay, so I'm being a little bit, but. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Today was stressful, and anyway. Well, if you're new to trading, don't trade like this, Eduardo. Don't take, this video is more just like for you guys to kind of just see what happened to me today and learn from my mistakes. And I have other videos that you can actually kind of more. Well, I think there's a lot to learn from this video. But I'm saying this is an example of me not at my best. I already went over the ways in which this trade was a great trade, and I think it was a great trade in a lot of ways. So it's not me at my best, but it's not me at my worst. And I've had worse days. I mean, this is a green day. This was a green day. So it's like I'm just so torn. I'm so all over the place. It's like on the one hand, down 1,600 early. I didn't cut my like today was crazy. I can't even put it into words. It's like on the one hand, down on positions, adding to positions as they move lower on AMC, not cutting positions, entering at a terrible spot here, full size instantly. The only good thing was that I cut my position here. I was down 400 on the stock, and I should have just been done. Walked away from the stock, started looking at other ones, looking for good setups. Like, why? You don't have to make it all back on the stock within the next few minutes, dude. Just chill. You know what I mean? But no, of course not. It comes back up. I'm in full size. Comes down. Don't cut the position. So on the one hand, trading terribly as it comes down here, not cutting the position. What am I doing? Look at this. Wick here, up, and then all the way back down. Wick looking like it's going to bounce. Nope, comes back down here. Stop out. That's the spot to stop. Look how much lower it comes now. Like, dude, hello. But no, of course I don't stop out because what if it goes up, right? So, okay, that's what happened. So, and on the one hand, again, trading terribly. The initial entry here was good. I liked this setup. It did come up. I was in the money. I liked it higher. Just, it didn't work out. Sometimes they don't work out. You got to cut the position. Okay, so again, coming down, terrible. A good ad here. This is actually an okay ad, but not enough shares to really make a difference, 500 shares. And then it tried to come up, but, again, sometimes it doesn't work out, and then I stopped out of the position. Okay, good for me. I stopped out of the position. So again, there's like plus and minuses here. Yeah, I traded terribly. I should have stopped out on this position earlier. I added good. Okay, yeah, the ad was good. And then, yeah, good. Okay, I stopped out right, but what the heck am I doing with this? Like, what is this, dude? Like, why am I holding that? What am I thinking? Okay, so it's like so many plus minuses on this. And then with Baidu here today, just a whirlwind, and this is my biggest green trade ever on this trade. I mean, it's crazy to think about because I'm just not, I don't feel like, okay, my biggest green trade ever. This is over a $2,000 trade from being down 180 on it earlier, and I don't feel like this is I don't feel like this is a $2,000 trade. The only thing that makes this a $2,000 trade is how many shares I took on this, and the fact that, well, yeah, it had a lot of volume and a lot of, I mean, this thing moved today. This thing moved like crazy. But other than that, I just, yeah. Anyway, we've been going 45 minutes here, and I'm I'm all over the place right now. I'm exhausted. I'm stressed out. But all things considered, it was a green day, and I don't want to trade like this every day. This is not sustainable. I do not usually trade like this. This is very, very aggressive, very risky, very bold, very not good. So, I mean, if you guys have been watching my recaps, you know I come in here with these recaps, and usually it's like, oh, up 100 on this stock, up, down 400 on this stock, up 300 on this stock. It's like somewhere in there, not up, down 1,600, up 1,800. So, yeah, today crazy. And this just goes to show that when you're not using stop losses, and you're kind of, and the thing is, I called this video a day without stop losses. And yeah, in many places I didn't stop out. But I did stop out here. That was good. I stopped out here. That was good. Here, I should have stopped out. That was bad. I didn't. Adding to the position there. And then I stopped out here, and I should have stopped out here. So, okay. Yes and yes. So, it's not totally a day without stop losses. I did stop out here. I did stop out here. I did ultimately have to cut the positions because this is just a dead stock, man. What am I trying to do here? Why don't I try to trade a stock that's going up? Try to buy a stock that's going to move up. Luckily, I found that in Baidu, and it's just crazy that I missed. I actually ended up missing over half of that move. Crazy. Join the Discord, yeah. Penny stocks, yeah. Penny stocks. Yeah, I'm not interested in penny stocks. A lot of them have low volume. They're not good technically speaking. They're just, very different style of trading. Not one I'm really into. All right, anyway, we're on past 45 minutes here. I'm going to wrap this up because this has been quite a long recap. But guys, please like the video if you did enjoy this recap. This is just the craziest day of the year. Definitely one of my craziest trading days ever. I don't think I've ever been... I want to be careful with how I say this. I think it's true. I'm almost positive I've never closed a position down 1,600 and then finished the day green. I certainly never closed my first position of the day down 1,600 and then proceeded to close the day and then end the day green. Today I did that. Also today, I had my biggest green trade ever. Over a $2,000 trade. Wow, okay. That's awesome. But there's a lot of context and tidbits that are important to be aware of. Okay, so a lot of takeaways from today. I got to decompress. I got to relax over the weekend. I'll be back Monday with smaller share size, trading more simply, and not doing this. Okay, thanks guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I will be back on Monday. Please like the video if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you're new to the channel because I do these recaps every single day, and this was a heck of a recap. So anyway, tune in on Monday, 5:40 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:40 p.m. I do recaps every single day of my trades, and I think there's a lot you can learn from them. Join the Discord link. The link is in the description. You can chat with me there, and I look forward to Monday. All right, I will see you guys there. Bye-bye.